This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to another victorious edition of the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. In this one, we're going to be talking about how the offense and the team in general just shows how versatile they are. They took advantages of their mistakes, of the Royals' mistakes again, and we're going to look ahead to see how the Rays can complete the sweep. But first, man, we got to talk about this pitching staff.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Pitching domination, as what I titled the thumbnail. So, two major things stick out to this is, and one good and, or I'd say two good and one bad. However you want to, kind of determine it. Drew Rasmussen, really good again. Goes 5 innings, picks up another win, but his shortest outing of the year, he only went 62 pitches at pitch-wise, shortest outing of the year pitch-wise. And his last 3 fastballs were down over a mile per hour from his average. So his average is 95.7. His last 3 fastballs were like 93, 94, 93 in that range. So I don't know how much concern is there. Hopefully none. Hopefully this was just, a precautionary thing. But, the thing with going live right after the game, we don't get to hear, or at least I don't get to hear Kevin Cash till after to see what he has to say. So, if anyone's in the comments has any more info on that, make sure to let me know. But, let's talk about the positives. And I thought Edwin Uceta was just fantastic tonight. I mean, 4 strikeouts as ending in 2/3 of work. Just stellar. The Rays only gave up 3 hits, out-hit the Royals 11-3. Another game where I think the Rays left more meat on the bone. I thought they should have won by more, but, wins go in the win column all the same. But the Rays, we mentioned it a few games ago when I thought the Rays punted against the Tigers. I talked about how rested their A bullpen was. This was the first save Pete Fairbanks got since June 13th. Just to put in perspective, how the Rays have just been blowing out teams and how they haven't needed him to pitch in these, these high level spots. He's pitched when the Rays were behind and stuff like that when they're up by 4. But, this was just a huge kind of spot to get Pete back into, get him another save. So, to have Kelly, Cleavinger, Uceta, Fairbanks, that's probably the Rays' 4 best relievers. Wants to throw, Orzi in there as well. Whoever you want to throw into the Rays, or Rodriguez when he's healthy, obviously. But, Michael Wacha is a really good pitcher, and the Rays were able to get on him early. And, it should have been often. Anytime the Rays have 11 hits, you'd think there should be more. And it was good to see Josh Lowe get 2 hits, especially go the other way with one of them. I was really impressed with. But, the pitching staff is the story. I mean, another 10 strikeouts for them, only 3 walks. So the walk number from Rasmussen at 2 is something that's, we're not super used to seeing. He's normally super in the zone. But, man, anytime the Rays got into trouble, Uceta had a little situation. I believe it was in the 7th where kind of Uceta, it was in the 7th. There's a man on second, and he just blows a fastball pass. I believe it was Bobby Witt but whoever it was, just blew the fastball by them. So, cannot speak enough about this pitching staff. And I know the Royals have struggled, but, how many times have we seen where teams can kind of get right against the Rays, right? But, the Rays didn't allow that. They've held the Royals to just 1 run over the first 18 innings of this series. I mean, that's just insane how dominant that they've been so far. But, it's all credit to how consistent this pitching staff has been, from Drew Rasmussen's consistency to the bullpen being stellar. I was able to go on the normal Rays, the Daily Show. And I said the Rays have a really unique ceiling, because I think their ceiling is being a top 10 lineup, a top 10 staff, and a top 10 bullpen. And you saw a little bit of that sprinkled in this game, right? And again, I thought the Rays should have scored more, but the constant pressure they put on you with their lineup, how dominant they can be with all 5 of their starters. And it's really 6 or 7 when McClanahan comes back, and Boyle you have in AAA. And then you go to the bullpen. Now you really have 5 guys that you really trust to go in a spot and perform. So a lot of teams cannot say that. You look around baseball, and either teams don't have the lineup depth or the starting pitching depth or the bullpen depth that the Rays have. So the Rays have this super unique kind of blend of talent where they have all of that. And, hopefully that they can just put together. First of all, hopefully they can get to October. Hopefully those October games could be played at Steinbrenner. Is that kind of rumor, that silly rumor is going around right now that the Rays should play elsewhere, which is just categorically ridiculous. If anyone wants my take on that, I know that's not postcast. What's going on right after the game, but I mean just ridiculous that they think about moving this team just because they need a few more national media, and the Rays don't think they have enough seats from. They can add some more seats if anything. But anyway, that's a time for the Daily Rays show, which I'm sure we'll be talking about that in their episode tomorrow. But again, the Rays once again took advantage of the Royals' mistakes. You go back to that second inning, and we're going to talk about their versatility in a second. But the wild pitch allows Josh Lowe to score, and the reason why, and another point in this game when Jake Mangum was able to get on base even though he got picked off, it was another error from the Royals pitching. I mean, we saw that a few times yesterday. The Royals, I guess they didn't get credited with an error there, which is really interesting. I'm just looking at the final box score now, but it was an error type play. I guess they give Mangum a single on that. Good for him. But it's just the Rays, more than any team that I've seen, take advantage of their opponent's mistakes. And they do it like so quickly. And it's like you make a mistake and they immediately just take a vice hold, like a grip on the game. And more than any team, man, they really make you regret mistakes because Rays, for the most part, rarely make mistakes. And if they do make mistakes, it's in not a high leverage situation. Like, for example, the Brandon Lau, error today. It's when it's 3-0, 1 out in the ninth. And I feel like the Rays' opponents' mistakes are a little bit more magnified because how the Rays just capitalize and score so many runs off them. I mean, yesterday was a great example of it, and it happened again today. The wild pitch scores Josh Lowe. The Royals not being able to field bunt singles, like Danny Jansen getting a bunt down. And I know that's maybe not a mistake, but the Rays being able to execute and being able to beat you in so many different ways. It's just been super impressive. But we're going to talk about how the offense shows the versatility and just how many different ways the Rays can beat you. And we're going to look ahead to see what the Rays need to do tomorrow to get the sweep right after this. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And the best thing about Monarch to me is it categorizes stuff that it doesn't think you're using. So if you're spending too much on takeout or the silly subscriptions you don't use. I realized the other day how many subscriptions that I have that I just don't use. Monarch can target that and put that money into a profitable situation for you. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. This episode is also brought to you by Rugiet. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet is a 3-in-1 formula, dissolves under your tongue, and kicks in fast. On average, in about 15 minutes, effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet may be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code LockedOnMLB for 15% off. So if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a comment. We will be getting to them momentarily after we talk about this offense and look ahead to see what the Rays need to do to get the sweep tomorrow. But let's talk about this offense because it's something that, again, I mentioned on the episode that I did with Kevin on the Daily Show over there, is how just versatile this offense is. And this team is in general, but let's specifically talk about the offense. I mean, during this streak, the Rays are number one in the majors in home runs. They're number one in stolen bases. And I don't know if this is an official stat, but I can kind of guarantee you that they're leading the majors in I call them the suicide squeezes, where it's basically like you're sending a guy from third and kind of banking on your guy to put the bunt down. And the Rays did it twice. The way the Rays scored in this game was 2 bunt hits, or 1 bunt hit, a wild pitch, and a bunt sacrifice that led to a run. I mean, that's just so Rays. After the Rays yesterday scored by hitting a 2-run home run and Junior lining a double and Yandy hitting 2 balls 114 plus off the bat. Today, they win it in just such a different way. And that's what makes this team so dangerous. They can beat you in so many different ways. And it's so entertaining to watch because you don't know what's going to come, right? You got guys that have 30 home run pop, in some cases 40 with Brandon Lau and Junior Caminero. And, Jonathan Aranda is more of that 20 home run potential. But, man, I mean, there's just so many different ways that they can beat you. So, it's impressive. And then compare that, part that with the Rays starters going further in games than any other team and the bullpen coming in and just being as strong as ever. So we talked about the Rays limiting their mistakes in terms of if they lose one, don't let it spiral. Not only would they lose one, they don't let it spiral, they normally turn it around into a winning streak. When the Rays lost back-to-back games for the only time during this stretch was to Boston, they turned around and won 4 straight games. The Rays lose to the Tigers, still win the series. They turn around and immediately go win another series. I mean, the way that this team has been able to just flush bad moments, or because you're not going to win every game in baseball, and just compact those under just playing such good team baseball has been superbly impressive from this team. But let's look ahead to see how they can kind of give the Royals some extra payback in the form of a sweep. So day game tomorrow, I believe it's 2:00 Eastern time for Rays fans, as the Rays will be taking on Michael Lorenzen. Lorenzen's 4-7 with a 4.81 ERA. If I'm not mistaken, he was a high draft pick back in the day. I remember him, with the Cincinnati and the Angels a little bit. So, recently, this is his second year. I remember with the Rangers as well. But he last time out, he went 5 1/3 against a really good Padres lineup, 5 hits, 2 earned. But his ERA so far in June is a 6.3. And, just super interesting to see what the Rays could possibly do against him, because the Rays have faced the Royals' 2 best pitchers, and they've really came out on top against them. So really good to continue to see them do that. So, and for the Rays, it will be their wins leader. Shane Baz is taking the mound for the Rays. He comes in 7-3, 7 wins, leads the staff. I think he's now tied with Rasmussen, actually, with a 4.7 ERA. And Shane's been really good kind of since a few of the, and he ended up being targeted for 5 runs against the Tigers. But remember, he went out for a 6th inning that I really don't think he should have. And 2 of those runs came when, he wasn't in the game anymore. But so he's been a lot better than that 5 runs indicated. But the start before that, 6 2/3, 3 hits, 0 runs. So I think the biggest key is getting out early to another lead to kind of just take out the willpower again from the Royals. But let's go to the comments. We'll go to Jack's takes. And he said, just like that, another series, it's another series win. Getting to look at lead at this point, we can blow you out or shut you out or both. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was just talking about, how versatile this team is. As we go to Dante Hamilton, it said bullpen looked really sharp tonight. It really did. The bullpen has looked really sharp over the last week or so, outside of Forrest Whitley's kind of blow up. But, the big names, the ones that need to be sharp, have been looking very sharp. As we go to Alexander Hernandez, might be a new commenter. If he is, I appreciate that. He says, glad to see Chandler get back on base and do what he does. He was fantastic tonight. Really good from Chandler again. As we go to Cameron Van Pelt, seems like Yandy goes as team goes right now, and Yandy is loose and happy, run up everyone else. I agree. Yandy continues to be superb. How dare he not get 2 hits, as he's been doing, but he extends his hitting streak once again. As Alexander goes, any concern over pulling Drew out like a Zach scenario? Yeah, I don't know. The velocity being down does worry me. I'm not gonna lie, but we will see right after this kind of where the chips fall for him, and if the and how he responds from this. It's not great seeing a starter only going out after 6-2 pitches, but hopefully it's just precautionary and not that. As Cameron talks about, he agrees about this team ceiling. Yes, he does. We go to Bobby Hearn. They don't lose. Yeah, they really don't, man. They are just crazy. As Alexander does a good point, and it speaks to the versatility of the Rays. He hit a home run yesterday. Dan Jansen goes from a home run yesterday to a bunt today to score a run. Awesome, and it really is awesome. As we go to Gary, he says another great win and a shutout. This team's playing great baseball. How fast is the game? Yeah, there's no team playing more complete baseball right now. As we go back to Alexander, he says, with everyone running on all cylinders, people need to get their games up. As he talks about kind of some guys potentially getting back. Yeah, I don't know where Pistachios or DeLuca fit in this team right now either. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they do come back. I don't think DeLuca's going to be back anytime soon. It'll be interesting to see when Richie comes back. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate everyone for hopping in. If you guys have any more comments, make sure to get them in as we will get to them. But yeah, guys, I mean, not more you could say, just a dominant few wins from the Rays. And the last two kind of titles of the thumbnail have been domination, because the Rays have just been in complete control over not only this entire stretch, specifically these two games, but 2 of the 3 games against the Tigers, complete control. If you go back, the Orioles was kind of a little bit more even, right? And I was talking about how the Rays dominate and whatnot. But if you go through this schedule in these recent games, I thought the Rays dominated the Mets. They dominated the Marlins when they were here. They dominated the Rangers when they were here, right? And so during this stretch, the Rays are not just beating teams, they're dominating teams. And there's a reason why Pete Fairbanks, this is his first save since I think it was June 13th, Evan Klosky says. As we go to Jason Schwader, he says 24-9 last 33 games, 8 comeback wins. Yes, sir. Rays up. That's what I'm talking about right there. I believe he's a first-time commenter. So if you are, very much appreciate the comment. As Alzer talks about where's Kim, he should be back soon, literally like any day now. They're saying like July 4th is kind of the target for him. So he should be back very, very soon. But we're going to wrap it there, guys. I appreciate everyone for joining live. I love having a kind of a bigger audience here for this one. If you guys are watching the replay, make sure you leave a like and comment. Day game tomorrow, so make sure to get in the live early. The game will end probably around 5:30 Eastern time. So again, I appreciate everyone for joining. If you're in the live, make sure you leave a like before you head out, and I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon.